Hi, Glenn.
Hey, Gabriel, how are you?
Pretty good.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too.
So, you have some shiso for me today?
Oh yeah, I got that for you right here. It's fresh, straight from the garden, or should I say it's Frisch.
Perfect.
So here you go, I've got it in a little tin for you.
All right.
So hopefully you can use it in your chocolate making.
Oh, excellent. This looks like a good batch.
Thank you.
Just going to give it a little flavor test here.
Oh yeah.
Definitely shiso. Perfect.
So you can see here that texture, it's real nice there.
It's very, yeah.
I'm wondering how many leaves are you going to be using?
I'll probably use most of these leaves in the batch that I'm going to make. But if you want to hold on a second, I'll just put a bit of chocolate on one of these and then you can taste what it's going to taste like.
Right here, right now?
Yeah, just take a couple minutes. Okay, be right back. There you go.
Well, let me get this bag out of the way here.
Certainly. Chocolate dipped shiso leaf.
Wow, look at that. Okay, so now how do you choose which type of chocolate?
Well, I usually start with the dark chocolate and I play with it from there.
All right.
But why don't you give it a taste?
Okay. Pardon me. It is have a little bit of a mint flavor, but it's going to be interesting how the ganache looks and works out.
Right. Well, I'll do a heat infusion so we get a lot of flavor right in the cream, and then we'll blend it in the chocolate to form the ganache, and then we'll see. It'll take about 2 days.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to the result. I'm going to have to head on out, but
okay.
Thank you so much, Glenn.
Very good. Okay. Thanks for the shiso.
Okay.
We'll see you in a couple days.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye. Hi, I'm Glenn Knowles from Gem Chocolates. We're located in Kerrisdale and we're going to make some shiso ganache today for part of this project. So I'm going to get it, first I'm going to get ready to start making the ganache. What we'll have to do is wash the leaves, make sure they're nice and clean, and then we're going to mince them up and then we're going to infuse them with using heat in whipping cream. So let's just give these a bit of a wash here. So I've already washed my hands at my hand sink to make sure everything's nice and clean. But I will put on my gloves when we go to use the shiso. So I'll just dry this off a little bit. So to make this ganache, I've already selected some of the leaves that we're going to use. We're just going to mince this up real nice and fine. It doesn't have to be super fine because we're just trying to break out some of the flavor of the shiso leaves into the cream itself. What we're going to do is we're going to infuse the shiso leaves right in cream. So I'm going to first scale my cream. And then I'm going to add my shiso leaves. So it looks like we actually have a fair amount of shiso, which is good because that'll give us a lot of good flavor. So you can see that we're starting to get some of the natural green properties, and the coloring is actually already infusing straight into the cream itself. The cream's no longer that white color. So now we're going to start the heat infusion. So we're just going to bring it to a light boil and then we'll let it simmer. And the simmer is just like steeping tea when you make tea. Yeah, so now the thrilling part of this process is you just wait. We wait till we get a nice little light boil, and then we're just going to let it steep. Take about 10-15 minutes for the shiso to steep in the cream itself before we blend everything straight into the chocolate. Okay, so now what we have is we have a light rolling boil. So you can see right now a bit of foam right on top, and you can see all the nice green starting to come out into the cream. So this is where the infusion process starts, and we just let turn off the heat, let this steep for 10 minutes or so, and that'll get some of the flavor right out of the shiso into the cream that will then blend into chocolate. Okay, so now that our shiso has infused in the cream, we're going to add a little bit of inverted sugar. Give it a bit of a stir here because sometimes it starts to separate a little bit. And I'm going to scale this according to my own recipe of what I like to do. And there we go. And then we put this back on the burner to heat back up to a boil, all blended together. Stir as we go, because as soon as it starts to hit the boiling point, then we know that it's warm enough to actually melt our couverture, which now I'm going to scale into another container. So this is what we call pistole. This is couverture. It's tempered chocolate, just as sort of like major chocolate chips. This is what we use to melt. So as soon as this cream has completely infused and heated up, blended with the inverted sugar, we'll put this into the chocolate, and then we'll combine the two and emulsify so that we can get a nice crystallization with the chocolate. Just keeping an eye on that. So we don't want this too hot, because if the cream is too hot, then we actually will end up burning the chocolate, which just means you have to throw it away, because there's no salvaging burnt chocolate. Just starting to get the light boil, so we're all done. Turn off the heat. We just add this straight in. Make sure I've got all the shiso leaves from the pan and all the cream as best I can. And then we start to combine. As you can see here, the chocolate's starting to melt as they combine. Chocolate's a bit particular because you can't over stir dark chocolate. Otherwise what happens is that the chocolate will separate, and you'll get basically the cocoa butter separating from the sugar crystals, and you'll get like oil and vinegar as the look in your chocolate. So now my trick is I just wait a moment after I've got the initial stirring completed. Give it a moment, check my temperature. Still a bit warm, so I'll slightly combine. I don't want to combine or stir too much, because if I do, I'm going to end up with broken ganache. Always checking my temperature, and I use a thermal gun. So it's a digital device that with a little laser beam that checks the surface of the chocolate. You can use this with all cooking, baking, that sort of thing, but it doesn't check the interior heat, just the external on the surface. So it's already dropped down by 5 degrees, so we're starting to make good progress. So here you see that we've got our chocolates now combining. It's emulsifying here. We're going to emulsify this with butter when we get to the 35 to 38 degree mark. But right now you can see the chocolate is quickly melting, and it's combining with the cream. The shiso leaves are in there, as well as the inverted sugar. So the next thing that I do is I add the butter that I've scaled, and so I'm just going to add that to our ganache, and then combine and emulsify the butter right into the chocolate. So now, as you can see, I'm slowly stirring, combining. I'm not whipping the chocolate, because if I whip it, I'm going to introduce air, and that'll speed up the crystallization of the chocolate, which is not what I want to do. So I just want to do it nice and slow, but keep it moving, and at the same time emulsifying the butter into the ganache. We're just about done with this small batch. This is what I call a taster batch because I just do it in small quantities. This is what I do whenever I'm experimenting with new flavors, new herbs, new fruits, that sort of thing. And then what I often do is I will take these tester flavors or ganaches and offer them to my customers that come in and get their feedback on what they think I've created. And if it's, you know, once we hit a mark that's good, then it's something that I'll make then for actual commercial sale. So here you go. This is our luscious ganache with shiso. Hi Keiko.
Hi Greg.
Hi, nice, good to see you again. So I have the shiso chocolate ready for you. Are you ready for the unveil? Here you go.
Oh wow.
So tell me what you think. This is your own shiso from your garden that I've made the ganache. 72% ganache in a 72% shell. Tell me what you think.
I'm very honored. Thank you. Wow. I really taste shiso. It's amazing.
As long as she says oishi. It's the best word that a chocolatier wants to hear from a Japanese. Oishi.
Amazing. Oishi desu.
A good question that I get asked all the time is, how did I get into chocolate? People think I've been working in chocolate for decades. Well, the reality of that, it was only a mere 4 years ago that I actually started working with chocolate. I come from the financial world, having worked 20 plus years in merchant banking and securities industry. There was always a part of myself that just wasn't fulfilled, a part of myself, of my creativity, that I just wanted to experience something different in my work life. And I found that what I really wanted is that when I got to be 85, 90 years old, if hopefully I'll get there, but when I think about that, I didn't want to have a life of any regrets. And one was I wanted to work in food. So I enrolled initially in a culinary school, but while I was waiting to actually begin the course, I took an online chocolate making course through École Chocolat. And 3 weeks in, I was having the most fun of my life. My chocolates were turning out. Friends and family were gobbling them up and saying they'd buy them. And why wouldn't I sell them? And I thought, maybe I actually can. So, long story short, 6 months later, I launched Gem Chocolates. Gem is the formation of the initials for myself and my 2 children. So it's Glenn, Eamon, Madeline. Forming the name Jen, it speaks to, you know, I wanted something of high quality. I use high quality ingredients. I use organic, fair trade, Rainforest Alliance certified chocolates. I don't believe in using commercially available chocolate because I believe in the whole sustainability of looking at the earth. We want to promote organic foods and fair trade for children, not being involved in the process, and also fair wages for the farmers themselves. Hence, I'm really, I only use the fair trade chocolate. But for me, it's the chocolate, it's fun. People say, oh, are you having fun? This is like, I don't even feel like I work. Like, I used to think back to my previous career, I worked a lot. I had long work weeks, and I worked. Since I started in chocolate, I don't work anymore because I just have fun. I get to talk to interesting people that come into the shop. I get to play in the back, outside the box with my own creativity, with color, with flavors, combining different things. And you know, for me, it's just like, it's the best thing I could have done for myself. And I'd like to think that also, yeah, I'm also teaching my children something, that you have to go for something. You have to find your passion in life. I took till I was into my 50s before I actually found it, and it's chocolate. I always was passionate about eating chocolate before, don't get me wrong. But as far as making chocolate, it's great. It's like, it's the best career anyone could ever have. Although, don't get me wrong, it is a lot of work, it's a lot of hours. And it's a lot of time and it's a lot of thinking, particularly once you have a small business, because you're thinking about How are you going to pay all your bills? When are you going to be ordering your next set of supplies? When are you having your staff come in? How are you going to promote your brand and raise the awareness? So all those things are always a constant. But for me, I've been fortunate enough. I have a nice following within the Kerrisdale and the Vancouver community, and it keeps growing each year. The shop I opened up back in December 2011, so now we're coming up on the 2-year mark, and you know, things are good. So hopefully you'll stop by and try one of our chocolates sometime.